Welcome to PowerPlay Podcast. We're getting right into it. I am your host, Robin Beecham, Richie Rob, Miss Robin, Miss Muhammad. I go by all those names. And PowerPlay Podcast again. I'm coming to you with a unique series of real dialogue that helps place people in positive financial position. I'm going to say that again. That's positive financial position. I do have to. I'm going to be the only one hosting today because our co-host Quake, he is dealing with some really intimate family issues. He did lose both of his fathers today, the day we have the podcast. So I'm here to carry that on, and he's dealing with that there. I'm going to get into that in just a few minutes about, how do we cope with losing loved ones, that has transitioned. So we'll get into that. And I'll be speaking about a number of different subjects today because it'll just be myself and mainly addressing questions that some people had uh, from the previous podcast. People chime in, they contact me directly, and they have questions. So I'll be addressing some of those questions as well. And then first, I want to get into it. Ramadan Mubarak. It is Ramadan. I do have a bottle of water with me because I am feeling under the weather. So I may not be taking in food, but I do want to take in liquids because I do want to be healthy. And I probably am feeling under the weather because I have been fasting. So every toxicity thing that was probably in my body is probably trying to come up and come out. So I'm just trying to deal with that, but it's got me feeling a little low. So I do have some water just in case I, need to take a sip or something. But I do want to take everybody else that's doing Ramadan, have a blessed Ramadan and Ramadan Mubarak again. Also, let's get into it. So one of the questions was, how soon can you insure your loved one? Like, could it be for children, right? You can insure your children. With your children, no, I don't recommend. You can put however much you want in coverage on your child. I don't recommend putting a lot on your child unless your child provides for the household. Because it's a loss. Insurance is a loss, right? That we're trying to replace. So a loss in income. So you want to replace that loss of income. So that's why you want to make sure you're properly structured, right? But you can get your child insured as young as 15 days old. Long as they're like 2 weeks, that's like 2 weeks, right? And have a social security number, you know, then you can go ahead and get insurance on your child or your children. To me, my opinion is how the rich stay rich, okay? Because this is real. We talking real, right? So it's how the rich stay rich. They would take out insurance policies on their children, make sure that insurance policy is properly structured and funded. And when I say funded, I mean they're putting in enough that where it cash accumulates, and after so many years, they take it out. And they do the same if they have multiple children as well. So it's how you create generational wealth. You'll take those out tax free. That cash accumulation money take it out cash free, and then you start over and do it again. Right? No harm in that. No harm in that. It's just like having your own income tax time. That's all. And just make sure it's properly funded. Make sure all your health issues and everything is together. Boom, you got it. I say it's the most genius idea. One, because I look at my children. I'm a mother of 6, grandmother of 3. So I look at my children and I say, what was the purpose? Like, what's our purpose? It got to be a purpose. I have so many children, and they're here to help me. As I'm just not here to parent them, they're here to help me as well. So I just always thought about it like, how can they help me? Of course, that's how they can help me. Help me into some generational wealth, right? Create generational wealth for them and for myself, you know? So if I get these policies out on them, have it cash accumulating, and once we get to a certain year, if we look at it and say, okay, we're at this year, it's enough money. We probably want to buy a house, go to college, send some children to college. Um, we have the access. We have access to that through the policies. No harm in it. It's not that much work. All you gotta do is contact me, start with an application, and get it going. That's all you gotta do. A lot of people see insurance as only a death benefit, a death payout, but honestly, people are outliving their policies now, and because of they are outliving their policies. Um, Something had to be in place. Something had to balance out, and that's how you balance it out. You just have to know that knowledge and that information, and you can learn more of that if you contact me. My number is 702-941-6746. Also, another question was someone asked me the other day, getting right into living benefits. What if I never had to use my insurance policy, like the death claim on it? And of course, again, you have living benefits. So if you become critical ill, have a critical illness, or you become chronically ill, have a chronic illness, and you have to come off your job, your place of work, then you can use those. It'll have qualifying conditions of what those consist of, and yes, you would have to see a doctor and probably have verification from a doctor to get those funds set in place. But you do have a rider that can be attached to your policy and help you that way. So that way, you won't never lose any of your income, right? You might not have your job, you might not be getting paid, but you won't lose your income. Also, leading into the next question, the same person asked me, what if he was just asking like a lot of questions. He didn't know how deep I was into the field, and he was asking a lot of questions like, okay, well, what if my family have to sell my home when I pass? And it's really basically the questions was because he had been going through these changes and things, whatnot, with his family, personal experiences and traumas and stuff like that. Mm, excuse me there. So he was saying like, how soon did I have to, move out my house if I had a home or whatever? And I was like, no, they wouldn't have to move out your home. Why? Because we have mortgage protection, life insurance with living benefits, right? So you do have mortgage protection that protects your lender, right? That comes with buying a home, right? But then now we have something that will protect the home buyers, right? Or home owners in some cases, right? So that would be the mortgage protection, life insurance with living benefits. So what you would do is you'll take out a policy that will cover your mortgage, in the event of a loss, or that you need to cover your mortgage or pay off your home. You take out that much, you properly structure it, make sure it's properly funded, and then there you are. Your family can stay in your home because why? It'll pay for it, you know. Um, whew, whew. Hold on, Cody. Whew. I'm having Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. There, right there, y'all. I told y'all. I'm telling you, everything is coming up out of me. I love it. I love it. I love it. But then it's the bad part is that it has to come out when it wants to come out. So back to what I was saying, because it was getting juicy. We had the mortgage protection, life insurance with living benefits, and that would cover the mortgage half of it. And I know I have a lot of like lender friends who works in the industry where they're lenders, and they said that that's what their clients call and ask them, you know, do they offer the mortgage protection, life insurance with living benefits? And no, they don't. However, some insurance agents does. They do. They offer that. Again, that policy is very easy, structured properly, properly funded. What's another question I had got? I got a question. They were asking, oh, so when so if you don't have anyone to leave your policy to, right? So if you don't have anyone to leave your policy to, you can donate it to like your church, your death benefit, um, charity. You can donate to charity, churches. You can pretty much place your policy wherever you want it to go, um, and to whomever. You can have, I think, up to 3 to 5 beneficiaries. Of course, you got a primary one, and that should be someone who you know and trust. For myself, I chose someone who would not typically need the money. You know what I mean? Um, and then I wrote it out and structured it properly as well to where I wanted to go. You know, this much for myself, this much for my children, this much for my grandchildren, this much. You know, it's just all structured properly. I did give like maybe 2 or 3 options of where I wanted money to go or how they can use the money. And again, when you do it that way and you structure it properly, I think it allows you to properly grieve um, the sudden change of the loss of the person who has transitioned, because you have to get used to that person not being there with you, and that's what is hard for a lot of people. And I think that's why they don't face the fact of getting coverage or properly planning for something like that. I know I heard the minister say, Minister Farrakhan, um, he said, and this is the first time I have heard it put in this perspective, but it was raw and it was true. He said, one thing you do know, that if you was born, you're gonna die, right? So why not plan for that? When I heard that, I was like, dang, so people should be planning. Because if you were born and you made it and you're living, you're gonna die one day, and people who has transitioned, died, they have done something we all have to do, right? They just did it before us. So each time I do suffer a loss, I got to make sure I'm planned out properly and the people around me um, are planning properly and have something set in place for themselves, especially to protect their assets as well and keep their legacy. That's what it's all about. You want to leave a legacy, especially if you have children. You want to be that better example, because my grandchildren could just well off be our future lawyers, doctors, police officers, everything. So they need to be structured so that they can go into these positions with some knowledge, knowledge of self, knowledge of finances, knowledge of management, emotional, physical, everything. They have to have the knowledge. So that was a question I was asked, and I think I answered it pretty well for, that person. And this one particular person had like so many questions. I was like, you have to just schedule a one-on-one with me for the how many works presentation because that person was like in it, right? Um, I love it because why? They want to know how to do better, you know. So, also, another person asked, um, do people leave their policies like to their children? Yes, you can leave it to your child. Will it be beneficial right at the moment? No. If your child is under the age of 18, um, I know that the money will go into like a trust or protective custody, just like children going to protective custody. And then when they of a certain age, then they can get the disbursements of the fund. To me, that doesn't help whoever care they're going to go to because whoever care they're going to go to, they'll be taking care of them, but they'll be using their own funds. So to put your minor child, juvenile child, as the beneficiary to get it, get all your funds, I don't think that's a great idea. But I mean, you do what you want to do. All I'm here is to give you my perspective of it as an agent. But you make the final decision on your life, you know. But that is what would happen. They would get it'll go in a trust or some type of account when they get of age. They'll be able to get it. Will it be that account be taxed or tax free? We can do our best to try to put it in something like that. However, it's out of our control, so they may take a risk and be losing money. Also, it was some great questions people have for me because I knew that I would probably be coming up and hosting for myself because our podcast is set up for a two-way dialogue, right? But I opened it up for Q&A, and anybody they could ask me anything they wanted for about insurance or ways around insurance. It was some really deep questions. I don't know if I wanted to get into it today, but I probably will. We got a little time, so I'll get into it. Someone asked if how can I say this? It's real talk though. It's real talk. They said GoFundMe, right? A lot of people use GoFundMe as a way to pay for final expenses, right, of a person or to get the family money and stuff like that. With GoFundMe, I say a family can do whatever they want to do. GoFundMe should be just an extra asset for people who, and this is just my opinion, for those of family members that want to help out, right? Aside your insurance policy. For those who don't know, like if I don't know a certain family and I want to donate because I seen on the news that the whole family was just lost and now it's only one person left in that family and I want to donate. I feel good to donate, you know? So that's what I think GoFundMe should be. Not to cover the main expenses or be of an expense, just to help and give the extra cushion alongside the insurance policy, right? Because why? GoFundMe, all the money don't go to the family. All the money that's raised, a portion of it would go to the GoFundMe, whoever established it. That's a business. It's an entity. So someone has to pay that entity, right? So all the money doesn't go there. Also, you may raise a whole lot of money and only get a portion of that, and I don't think that is fair to the family. You see you've raised this amount, you had a great responding to it, to the GoFundMe, and then people take, the entity takes some of your money. You don't get what you're expected. So I wouldn't rely on that as well. That's just my perspective of it. For my own immediate family who don't have coverage, and I'm telling you, this is real talk, real dialogue, right? And they hearing it from me. If you do not have a policy, right, with me or anyone else, I'm going to get it to work as well. I don't care if you have one at work. I mean, get one at work. They're going to give it to you. It comes with the benefits. But to have just only that doesn't make sense. But my immediate family who does not have life insurance, have not came and seen me or another life insurance agent. You don't even have to come see me. Go see somebody else and get this insurance. I feel like that is very selfish of them. Yes, I'm saying it. And I won't. I won't participate in no GoFundMes, no fish fries, no services. Might not be at the funeral service. You might see me, might not see me. I mean, I'm not interested. Because why? I was here to help. I'm here to help. I'm here to show you ways it's benefiting you while you're here, and ways it's benefiting you or your family while you're gone. Because once you're gone, you're gone. Once you transition, you've transitioned. And I can no longer help you, But what I could do is, if you're leaving a legacy, if you have children, an extension of you, I can make sure they're okay. And we can set that up right now while you're here and you're okay. There's ways of doing things, right? Also, it's perfect. It is perfect. Helping me with my breathing. Yes, yes. So, and then also to my immediate family, they know that I care a lot about them. However, when it comes to business, it's business, right? Now, we're going to get into the next question. So, yes, someone asked me or told me I'm good. I'm good on insurance because I have it through my job. And I pay like $1.25 or something like that through my job. And I was like this. I know this person's not telling me this. So I'm like, look into that policy. If you can take that policy and pay $1.25 when you are not working for that company, then you're in a good thing. But most insurance policy through your employer is not going to give you more than $25,000. It's really $20,000, but I'm gonna give them benefit of the doubt. $25,000, right? If I took a field trip to a mortuary one time, not when my mom passed, but before that, took a trip to a mortuary, and the average funeral costs like $16,000. So if you have that insurance policy through your job, through your employer, and they give you $25,000, what do you think your children gonna have after that $16,000? And how long, especially if your cost of living, especially if your rent, my rent is $2,000, so that's not gonna last long, and I'm in an apartment, right? That wouldn't last long. That is like a slap in whoever you're leaving behind's face, right? To have it through your employer. You can have it through your employer, right? Let them provide it for you. That's all good and that's all dandy. It comes with the workplace, right? However, you need to have something personally that goes with you no matter what job you're on. No matter what job you're on, you need to have something in place and for your family. Point blank, period. I don't care what the cost is. If it's $1.25, he said he pays $1.25 through his job for his life insurance policy. And he told me his family is covered through that same policy. And I said, well, please do make sure that that's how it's structured, because I've worked for some pretty hefty employers for a long time, and I know that I'm insured, but I don't think my family is insured because they don't ask me for my family's information on that paperwork. They're just asking for my information and an emergency contact. And whoever your emergency contact is, that's your beneficiary. Point blank, period. So you have to really pay attention and don't just settle for I have insurance through my employer. and I'm just good. Because COVID taught us something. Them doors closed by noon on what? March 12th, 7th, something like that. It was somewhere in March. What was that? 2019, 2020, something like that. Them doors closed. Them employers was closed. And you didn't have no benefits. You didn't have no insurance. You didn't even have a paycheck. Who want to go through that again? Who's not planning for that again? If you're not planning for that again, you do have to call me, 702-941-6746, to start planning. Because if it happened then, it'll happen again. Don't think that it won't. Don't be caught off guard. Don't be caught off your post, whatever you want to call it. Don't be caught off. But I thought that was the most important questionnaire. Well, he made a statement, and I just turned it into just an answer for him. He thought he was dismissing me. No, I had to let you know that please take a look into your policy. Please take a look into your 401ks because they now running as 201ks. And when you take that look and you see what's going on, yeah, definitely hit me up. Another question was, and I know a little bit about the stock market, but I just know what it does better on the insurance side. Now, you put your money into the stock market, right? My heart just dropped because a lot of people do this. And I've seen people lose thousands and thousands of dollars because that's what they do. They put all their money into the stock market, right? Research. There's banks closing, right? Banks is closed. I went to a Chase that I know I used to meet somebody at all the time. We used to meet at this Chase Bank. That Chase Bank ain't there no more. It's gone. And I was like, dang, is they just like expanding? Like maybe it's going to be a nice, beautiful Chase Bank. Maybe they got a sign on the door saying we have moved to this location. No, it's a bank. Banks are on every corner like the liquor store and the 7-Elevens, you know. But that bank ain't there no more. And I'm like, wow, Chase Bank. And then I look at the news and see that there is all these other banks that are closing as well. Wow. Those are some really large entities and corporations. And people need to start thinking because they put their money all into the bank, all into the stock market, which is a risk, okay? All that is a risk. And they lose with that risk. Politics and money. That's what me and my team call it. Politics and money. Everything that happens is all politics and it's all money. You just have to research, study, do your due diligence to it, become serious about your finances, your structure. As soon as my co-host is ready to come back, we're going to be talking about structuring the family, how to properly structure your family because it all starts at home and what you're teaching your children. Also, coming up, you can find us in person at Coffees and Conversations. We haven't been there. We've missed a couple of weeks and haven't been there physically there because we've had the ups and downs with the family and then the loss of 2 uncles that is really big in the same day. So it's been having us traveling in and out of town and getting this prepared. But you can find us at Coffees and Conversations. You can check us out at Vegas 106 FM. You catch us live on PowerPlay Podcast, Facebook. Also, you can give me a call at 702-941-6746. Also, if you're in my CRM, that's a Customers Relations Management System, you will get weekly tips. Or I try to do them every 2 weeks so it doesn't like really bother people. And do insurance tips or asking questions or, just stay educating people on insurance. Also, we just have to stay focused right now. It is the hour that we're in, and I feel really, really like bad for some of the people that's not prepared or not preparing, don't want to prepare, and they think they're okay with what they have, and it's really not. It's really not. The last question really got me in. The last statement really had got me in the mood because he really believed his $1.25 a month covers himself, his mortgage, his wife, his child, and it's probably no more than $20,000, $25,000. Once a company loses you, they replaces you with another number within a couple of hours. They really do. That's the hard truth about it. You can research it for yourself, get the facts out for yourself, and see. But yeah, I would have some extra cushion in place. That is my time today for PowerPlay Podcast, people. We will be back next week, Sunday. You can catch us on, again, Vegas 106 FM, YouTube. You can catch us Coffee and Conversations on Tuesday. New time is 11 a.m. Doors open at 10. And you can also give me a call or text at 702-941-6746. Thank you. Peace.
My nigga D on this beat.
How you feeling? Like I wanna take a nigga bitch. Get rich, probably hit another lick. I'm from the old bitch, so I keep a blick. Gang shit, niggas throwing up cribs.